Last week, Prime Minister Netanyahu departed for a historic visit to Africa, but many Israeli politicians criticize the goal of his trip. While the trip has sparked controversy, some believe that renewing diplomatic ties with African countries will benefit Israel's economy and security, and more importantly, its international reputation. Joining us now in the studio is Dr. Ofer Israel to tell us more. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So is Africa really a geostrategic destination for Israel?
I think that Africa is very important to Israel from a few points. The first point, in my opinion, is actually not geostrategic point, but actually the moral issue. While we are talking about Africa, a very poor destination, the people there need the help of the developing world. And Israel, one of the leading states, I think, in the world, with its economy and what we are calling the startup nation, I think that we should, to lead maybe the international effort to help Africa to build themselves and actually the African to support themselves by themselves.
Right, to develop the resources from water irrigation. I mean, we already see a lot of Israeli companies that are actually, helping African nations develop their economies and infrastructure. So, let's talk about the economy. Can the Israeli economy benefit from these ties with Africa?
For sure. I think that Israel can benefit from Africa, and Africa, vice versa, can benefit from the economy relation between the two sides. As you said, there is already few companies, Israeli companies, who are working in Africa, and I think that this visit of the Prime Minister can actually get tight the connection, the economic connection between the sides, and Israel, as you said, can benefit from this from now on.
Now, talking about economic benefits, there are also a lot of large-scale arm deals and defense corporations working in Africa. Could that possibly damage Israel's international reputation if Israel continues to sell arms to countries that are considered to maybe be human rights violators?
So we should connect this to the first point. I think that if Israel will sell arms to Africa, to African countries, we should take the moral issue here as well. So we don't need to sell to everyone, but we should consider very carefully for whom we are selling these arms.
Absolutely. Now, talking about diplomatic status and how that influences it, Israel already has various prosperous trade ties with companies like Egypt, for example, and it seems to have an effect on our diplomatic position. Yet, can we really expect the support of African Muslim countries if we start to work with them?
In Africa, there is 54 countries, which is more than a quarter of the seats in the UN, in the UN Assembly. So if we can move 10 of them to our side, I think that it would be enough. We don't need to expect to receive or to get the support from the entire African countries, but as we said, we can go step by step and move a few countries in the beginning, and then actually there is a possibility also to influence some of the Muslim countries in Africa, in my opinion.
And we already see that the Egyptian foreign minister just came and visited Israel, this week. Is that in any way related to this historic trip?
For sure. The Prime Minister was in a very good relation with Egypt leader, Sisi, and Sisi needs the Prime Minister help with his discussion with Ethiopia about few issues relating to the Nile River, and I think that we are already see the benefits of the Prime Minister visit to Africa just now with this visit to Israel.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the future of Israeli-African ties. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.